StellaRoseAllDay. Let me just set the chat. Okay. Okay. So, today is Aaron Carter's birthday. Happy birthday, Aaron. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Aaron. Happy birthday to you. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. I am StellaRoseAllDay. This live is for documentation purposes only. I have updated his chapters, but I want to go through this with you because there's something that just hasn't been sitting right with me in regards to his estate. So I want to go through it with you so we're all on the same page. Because remember, they're in a really big hurry to close the estate by the end of the year, but there's just a lot of red flags. And so I'm documenting it so when the criminal investigation comes together, it's, basically this is always for law enforcement and the lawyers and things like that that have access to the information. Okay, so we're still talking about that Aileen. Okay, so the other day I did a live and we talked about the cars that were missing in the estate. This is in the Fool's Gold chapter. So I'm going to go down. This is on medium.com. If you haven't been following Aaron's story on medium.com, you really should. It's a very cool way to document everything. Amazon Kindle Vella is shutting down in February. So if you have tokens on Amazon Kindle Vella, you're going to want to use them up because in February they're shutting it down. I went on medium.com to do his second documentary because you're able to put like YouTube links in and article links in, and it's just a nice way to go ahead and document everything. Okay, so in this chapter we talk about we talk about Aaron Carter. We talk a little bit about Melissa Schumer was a member of P. Diddy's group Dream, okay? And so we want to keep connecting all of the dots. And so let me scroll down to the end here when we left off the other day about this lady who's in charge of and see what happens is once I publish videos and stuff, then people take them down as soon as they get more exposure on their videos. So this video is, I backed up every single video that I had, so I could put that up later. But anyway, okay. So let's get down to the estate. I want to talk about the estate. And we're going to get down here to the cars. So the other day where we left off was I said the person that's doing Aaron Carter's estate, there's too many red flags, and we brought up the fact that it's a possibility that there could be a conflict of interest if this lady had anything to do with Aaron Carter's conservatorship. Remember when they tried to put him in a conservatorship? So the question was this lady breaching her fiduciary duty if she was working with Angel Conrad to get Aaron in a conservatorship before he died? Now, what happened is I got a hold of some people who I don't want to say who it is that agreed that this needs to be looked into. And so I don't want to say because we know what happened to the homicide detective that I was working with. okay, on Aaron's case. So, what I'm going to say is this. What I ended up doing, and I've never done this before, but I did it this time because I needed some, I just needed to do this, okay? Remember, like this lady said that she couldn't find the Buick Riviera, and here's a picture of Prance in the Buick Riviera after Aaron died. So she just didn't want to find the car. So anyway, what I ended up doing was I used a chat GBT to ask about the conflict of interest. And so I want to read it off because I want this to be documented, okay? And at the time, well, here, let me just do it. So as you know, I don't know, maybe you don't know this, but in the last live we were talking about how she abandoned two of Aaron's assets that have titles attached to them. So she said that she was going to abandon the Buick Riviera, and I found a comparable Buick Riviera to Aaron's, worth $40,000. And then she wanted to abandon this trailer that also has a VIN number. I don't know if you can see, has a VIN number to it that's worth $20,000. Okay, so essentially she's abandoning $60,000 worth of assets. So what I ended up doing, and I included the reference. Hold on. Sorry about that. Oop. Hold on. Why is this doing this? Come on. Hold on a second. Here we go. Okay. Let's go here. Okay, here we go. So let's go back to the article. Aaron Carter's estate abandoning car collection, including 2012 Bentley, 2 years after his death. Okay, fine. So it says in the article that per the filing, the administrator said they were aware of the Bentley's location, but the car was registered to another man. Therefore, they asked not to be responsible for any debts on the vehicle. So now we know that there's another man involved, okay? The administrator said, this is my words, who's the other man? The administrator said they were unaware of the location of the 1999 Yamaha, 1967 Buick Riviera, and the 2020 Catty Trailer, okay? Catty Trailer. Sorry. Okay. So, and we just went over the fact that all of those have a chain of title attached to it. In the article, it says, however, the administrator said she does not believe that the cost of trying to recover three of the vehicles will be more than what is available to the estate, even after said vehicles are located and sold. The decision comes months after the administrator filed its first status report in the probate case. So, in just two of the vehicles, the total worth is $60,000. And if you have been following Aaron Carter's case, you know that the tax lien against his estate went up $60,000. So that's a significant amount of money, okay? Why does somebody who is in charge of his assets and selling his assets and tracking his assets not go after $60,000 in assets? If that wasn't a substantial amount of money, I mean, the tax man thinks it's a substantial amount of money. It's her job to locate the assets and to liquidate them to pay off the tax lien, okay? So she's not doing her job. It's a huge red flag. It's her responsibility to determine the location of the cars and to ensure that they are sold rather than leaving them abandoned. That's when it hit me. collusion. We have collusion, okay? Collusion is a secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy, especially in order to cheat or deceive others. It's also illegal cooperation or conspiracy, especially between opponents in a lawsuit. The example here was the armed forces were working in collusion with drug traffickers. So right away, my mind went towards the Williams family, because the Williams family it's a strong suspicion that the Williams family was hired to murder Aaron Carter. So I right away was like, okay, she's working with someone shady on this. And let me tell you why I think this, okay? So originally I was like, okay, it's got to be a conflict of interest with Angel and Eileen. So I went ahead and I ran through the Chat GBT program in regards to the conflict of interest. And I do have a disclosure statement here. The author utilized ChatGPT to generate initial drafts of certain sections of this document. All content was thoroughly reviewed, edited, and revised for accuracy and clarity by the author. So this particular section that I'm reading right here, it is from ChatGPT because I needed a source I could publish without naming names of people that I talked to or things like that in order to go forward. Okay, so this is what it said. This is in regards to a conflict of interest. Assuming that it was Angel Carter and Elaine, the person that's doing his estate, assuming that they had assuming conflict of interest between those two, okay? The situation you're describing raises several important legal and ethical issues, particularly regarding conflict of interest, undue influence, and potential misconduct. To address your questions, let's break it down. Conflict of interest. A conflict of interest occurs when someone has competing interests or loyalties that could impair their ability to act impartially. In this case, Eileen's involvement with Angel Carter, especially if there were any personal or financial stakes, could indeed constitute a conflict of interest. Here's why. Relationship between Eileen and Angel. If Eileen was working with Angel to get Aaron Carter into a conservatorship and failed, but still had a role in distributing Aaron's assets after his death, there's a potential conflict of interest. So I originally thought this could be why Angel dropped out of the race, asking to be executor of Aaron's estate after she filed in November of 2022. She was the first person, his twin was the first person to file. If Eileen had a prior relationship with Angel, whether personal or professional, it could raise questions about whether she acted impartially in Aaron's estate matters. Financial interests. If Eileen had any financial or other interest in Angel's benefit from Aaron's assets, this would also raise ethical concerns. This is especially significant if Eileen was actively involved in distributing the estate, particularly if Angel had a potential financial interest in Aaron's estate or had any of them. Bias and potential influence. Given the nature of your question, where it seems like Angel may have had a personal motive, such as animosity towards Aaron or the restraining order issue, because remember, Angel had a restraining order against Aaron, and Eileen was working with Angel on the conservatorship, Eileen would be seen as a bias in favor of Angel's interest. If Eileen had any prior dealings or relationships with Angel, particularly if they were working together on a sensitive issue like a conservatorship, this would certainly suggest that Eileen may not be an objective party when handling Aaron's estate after his death. Restraining order. The fact that Angel had a restraining order against Aaron complicates things further. A restraining order typically implies that there was a history of conflict or violence between Angel and Aaron, which suggests Angel may have had a hostile relationship with Aaron. This could create a scenario where Eileen might be more sympathetic to Angel's interests, especially if they were unresolved issues or financial incentives tied to the distribution of Aaron's assets. A restraining order is often indicative of a toxic or abusive relationship, which raises further questions about Elaine's neutrality or impartiality. When it comes to managing Aaron's estate, particularly if she has a history with Angel. Legal document filing, non-lawyer filing legal documents. She's not a lawyer. She is licensed by the state of California, but she's not a lawyer. Elaine's role in filing legal documents without being an attorney could be problematic if she's engaging in the unauthorized practice of law. While it is not illegal for someone to file legal documents on behalf of others, if Elaine was involved in submitting legal documents in a way that could affect Aaron's estate, it might be legally questionable, especially if she wasn't properly qualified to act in that capacity. There could be concerns about whether she was acting in her own interests, Angel's interests, or Aaron's estate without proper oversight. It is crucial to note that the Wells Fargo lien, which was paid outside of the estate, this is my words, not ChatGPT, but bypassing the executor. This raises a significant concern, particularly if Melanie used Aaron's credit card after his death and was aware of his passing. That comes to be very important when it was the Wells Fargo lien that was paid outside of the estate, going around the executor, raising a red flag, okay? Especially if it was Melanie using Aaron's card after he died and she knew that he died. Potential concerns. Based on your mention of a murder for hire and the possible involvement of Aaron's money, and that this goes well beyond a simple conflict of interest and ventures into criminal territory. Because essentially what I'm saying is they're using Aaron's money to finance his death, okay? To finance the entire murder for hire, Project Nightlight, the whole estate, all of it. If there's evidence or suspicion that Elaine and Angel were involved in any way in the financial aspects of Aaron's death, whether by direct funding or indirect facilitators, this would likely be a matter for law enforcement and criminal investigation. Financial manipulation, fraud, and conspiracy are all potential legal concerns that could stem from this type of behavior, in addition to bringing fraud upon the court. Now, I got that far, and then I was like, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Summary of conflict of interest concerns. Personal relationship with Angel. If Aline had any significant relationship with Angel, especially if it was ongoing or biased on financial gain, there is an appearance of bias which could undermine her impartiality in handling Aaron's estate. Financial and legal influence. Aline's role in handling legal documents and distributing assets, particularly after her failure to place Aaron under conservatorship, combined with any potential financial connections to Angel, raises serious concerns about potential conflicts of interest. Restraining order and hostility. The restraining order against Angel indicates specific interpersonal issues with Aaron. This suggests that Aileen may have been influenced by her relationship with Angel, further complicating the situation. Murder for hire allegations. If the assets were used in connection with Aaron's death, this raises potential criminal implications. It is essential to separate the ethical concerns from the potential criminal activity, especially if they are using used Aaron's money to finance his death in the murder for hire plot. What can you do? Investigate the relationships if you suspect misconduct. It would be vital to further investigate the relationship between Aileen and Angel, and whether Aileen had a personal or financial ties that could initiate a conflict of interest or bias, which means by any phone communications from Angel, Lori Knight, Melanie Martin, prior to Aaron's death would implicate substantial evidence. Okay, so what you would do is you would consult an attorney. I already did that. Given the complexity of the situation involving a legal professional to assess whether a lien violated any professional or ethical standards would be prudent, especially if criminal activity such as a murder for hire is suspected. Okay, so because I did consult with an attorney, and the advice was that I have substantial evidence to prompt a criminal investigation. And then I went back and I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's more to this. Because when she went back and started talking about the cars, okay, I'm like, she was talking about a man. Okay, so just stay with me here. So I looked up Aline's team once again, and the only man that I found listed on the team was this man. So if you go to Aline's website, elderwell.net, and you go through like her team, there's only one man that's listed, and it's this guy right here. And it says that he's a licensed private professional fiduciary who brings a wide variety of experience to his work at Elderwell. This I copied off the website, okay? It says that he earned a BS in kinesiology from University of California, Los Angeles, and a master's of physical therapy from University of Southern California. His prior career experiences include physical therapist at the West Los Angeles Veterans Affairs Medical Center, Century City Hospital, and Brookdale Senior Living, director of rehabilitation services at Century City Hospital, and an entrepreneur in e-commerce. Since 2011, he has helped develop and manage Elderworld's robust fiduciary services. The physical therapy could tie him to Harley Pasternak. It seems so odd to me that Mr. Pasquale is a physical therapist and then director of rehabilitation and e-commerce entrepreneur, then working with this high-ranking person appointed by Governor Edmund G. Brown Jr. and the Supreme Court judges of LA, allegedly. What exactly does he do for her? Seems odd when that would be a job that many people would want, and especially people who seem more qualified in the probate area. Didn't Diddy specialize in e-commerce with Revolt? Okay, but let's really think about this. Oh, I know who was in charge of Aaron's estate. Who was the executor? Spencer Williams was. To me, it was never clear if Spencer walked away from Aaron or if Spencer was fired by Aaron. But one thing I do know, Spencer had a big hand in the cars that Aaron drove. It would be interesting to see if Spencer had any dealings with Aaron and the conservatorship, but even if he didn't, I can tell you this. For Aileen to abandon $60,000 worth of Aaron's assets, the same amount of money from the tax lien, it's a red flag. So when I originally thought that Angel Carter, Conrad, and Aileen had the conflict of interest, and that may exist, Aileen, I think, is skimming with Spencer, and the legal definition is steal or embezzle money, especially in small amounts over a period of time. So we know that Spencer Williams was the person that was in charge of Aaron's estate when it was Aaron. Now, this lady's in charge of Aaron's estate now that Aaron transitioned into the afterlife, and he was in charge of the cars, and she's not going after them. So what I'm saying is that they're in collusion. They're creating a collusion. They're working together, and she's benefiting financially because Spencer's shady. Okay, now, ATM Richie, also known as Jovan Williams, who was the person that confessed multiple times to killing Aaron Carter, who is Spencer Williams' nephew, and Betty Williams, Betty the homeless housekeeper mother, who admitted in an interview that he works for the music industry. Okay, so ATM Richie admitted that he works for the music industry, and he also stated that he was mentored by his uncle, who is Spencer, okay? So that means that Spencer works for the music industry as well, okay? Now, again, we're going to go back to this photo where we have Spencer and Melanie and Chris the realtor all sitting outside of Aaron's house the morning that the news was there that Aaron Carter died. But in the United States, they cut Spencer out of the picture, okay? You have to go outside of the United States to see Spencer Williams was sitting there. They Photoshop him out of the photo. Why do they do that? Okay? Why did they do that? So what I'm saying is I bet you that Aline knew way before that Aaron was going to pass away. I would need law enforcement to subpoena records for phones and chats, but they can fill in the blanks. There's a reason why the media says that Aaron had a homeless woman living inside his house. Homeless people have no address, and so they are difficult to track down. If the media said Betty Williams is a homeless woman, you would be able to track her down. If the media said that Betty Williams is a homeless woman, okay, you can't track her down because she doesn't have an address. But if they told you it was Betty Williams, you would be able to track her down because she has to have a family history somewhere, okay? So the media intentionally omits her name and refers to her as a homeless to mislead detectives and internet sleuths. Spencer has remained throughout this situation. Eileen does not wish to pursue vehicles, but is aware that a man owns one of them. I seek to determine whether title search was conducted on the car registered in Aaron's name, along with the dates of the titles and the status of the paperwork. She possesses a financial interest in the assets, otherwise, she would not have abandoned them. It is her responsibility to locate them. Given this evidence, a formal investigation is warranted concerning these filings. She has already demonstrated a failure to properly account for Aaron's estate, and if she is found to have benefited from his assets, it could lead to criminal charges. I would like to inquire whether Harley and Mr. Pasquill have ever encountered with each other. It is noteworthy that they possess similar expertise in a particular industry. Below are the paths that Harley has traversed that relate to the Big Umbrella Group. According to his Wikipedia page, he has been on ABC's daytime talk show host. So ABC, the Big Umbrella. Pasternak has worked extensively with numerous celebrities. Kanye West, also known as Ye West. Pasternak appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Okay, Oprah. He's also into kinesiology. Okay. Pasternak has been a frequent contributor on the Today Show as well as Good Morning America. Additionally, Pasternak co-stars in all 3 seasons of Khloe Kardashian's revenge series Revenge Body. In Good Morning America, Harley Pasternak is a guest celebrity trainer with Gayle King. Remember the interview with Gayle King and Angel Carter Conrad? Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner, Khloe Kardashian, Kim Kardashian's ex-husband, Kanye West. Corey Gamble, who has been linked to Justin Bieber, who is associated with P. Diddy. Okay. So, I'm trying to think. Oh, then the one other thing that I wanted to add about P. Diddy. I would like to add a thought. If it is true that P. Diddy had 1,000 bottles of baby oil in his house for his parties, using it to soak drugs that were then administered to victims, it isn't far-fetched to think that the idea could have also influenced the decision to leave Aaron's body soaking in the tub for 33 hours to allow the drugs to dissipate. Okay? So Again, this is one of the nice things about medium.com is that they let me put in links of Aaron Carter's videos and stuff like that. So if you haven't read the second documentary on medium.com at StellaRoseAllDay, go to lists. All of his chapters are on there. And I update them. I just continue to update them, okay? So, um I wanted to do a YouTube live because I wanted to be able to document this cuz my lives get a lot of views, and I wanted to say that I believe that this lady right here, now this is my opinion, and I've asked for a criminal investigation into his assets, okay? Because I'm so tired of people thinking that we are not sharp in the mind, okay? I believe that there is collusion and skimming, okay? That she's benefiting financially, okay, off of Aaron Carter's estate with Spencer Williams. That's who I think that she's working with. And it took me a couple of days, but I was promised that this is going to be not only investigated as far as ethics, but now a criminal investigation. You can't tell me you can't find the Buick Riviera. Hello? Okay? I'm so tired of people thinking that nobody cared about Aaron Carter and that we were stupid and that this person was just going to go ahead and do whatever she wanted and nobody was going to catch her. Okay? So, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to this lady because you're getting what Grinch has to offer, okay? Because you're full of crap and we caught you. So, I don't think anybody's going to be hiring her anytime soon. So I just wanted to say happy birthday to Aaron Carter. As far as the paperwork with Congress, that is complete. That is in motion. There's nothing more that I need to do. And just know that that is going to happen. The timeline for that, I don't know. There's other major issues that are going on, but it's definitely going to happen. Okay, so Aaron Carter's paperwork is in Congress. The internet laws will be updated. Trump's administration is going to do this. And just know that I did get that done. And then I've been working on this all week. But we got this going now too. So, wanted to update you. This has now been documented. And medium.com at StellaRoseAllDay. Aaron's second documentary is free. You do have to sign in. If you have a Gmail address, you could just sign in, but you can read his documentaries. There's 10 of them, and I update them all the time. So even if you read it before, you might want to go back and read it again because I do update them. So thank you everybody for being my witness today. And make sure you say happy birthday to Aaron, and I hope you all have a great day. Namaste. Bye-bye.